I have been thinking about this whole issue. I think I need to dig deeper into it, but it's burning in me, so I'm gonna just pass it on and we'll go from there. It's about our relationship with God and how we perceive our relationship with God. First of all, I think that one of the biggest factors or contributing factors to how we relate with God, it is out of our personal experiences or personal relationships with people around us, and more so our father figures. Um, Now this becomes very tricky even talking about, and this is probably why I have been trying to avoid speaking this word. But I realize that there is some truth to it. I'm not alienating our relationships with our mothers, because it also plays a role, in how we do relate to God, but more so our father figures. Um, and I'm thinking we have had experiences, or most of us have had experiences with our fathers who have been more authoritative, and they project more of a commanding figure in our lives than a loving, caring person. Yes, we know that they love us. We know that our fathers, they will do anything for us. They will go to any extent to make sure that we are provided for. When we think of fathers, mostly he's the provider, he's the protector, he's the guy who goes in the morning and comes back late at night and says hi, bye, at the same time you need to go to bed. That's how we perceive our fathers, and we look at them from the point of view of, yes, I know he loves me, but he doesn't have to say it. They never say. Most men do not express their emotions, they do not express their feelings. They do not go out and be like, oh son, I love you, oh my daughter, I love you, give me a hug or something like that. That's not, I know the generations are changing and times are changing, but that's not really how we grew up relating with our fathers. And this comes back to how we relate with God. We know that He loves us, we know that He cares for us, He provides for us. Um, but we fail to have this connection with Him like we do with our mothers. Most people do confide and they do go to their mothers when they have something wrong. Like if there's something troubling me, it's easier to speak to my mom. Well, she's a single parent, so mostly probably my case is different. But I have been raised by my grandparents, and it was always easier to talk to my grandmother. She she was able to confide in me some things that were happening in the family, and I was in return able to talk to her about some things that were affecting my life. So this goes, our relationship with God, it's mostly solidified with prayers. That's the same thing with our relationship to not just our fathers, but our mothers. It's mostly about the communication and how we perceive God, how we communicate to Him. Am I able to sit down and be like, Lord, I am going through this. I am I am in a corner. I am backed by this. Are we just going to Him and being like, I want, because our dad, or rather our fathers, when they are leaving in the morning, they always ask you, what do you want me to bring to you when I'm coming back at night? And that's always the question fathers ask. And more so, if you look also in the Bible, God has said He's going to provide to us, and hence the tendency for us to relate with Him from the perspective of He provides, that's fine, He protects me, that's fine, but we fail to see the aspect of seeking the connection with Him, seeking to connect with God at a personal level. I don't know that this is, the point is getting to where I wanted, but there is more to our relationship with God than just our dependence on God. There is more to our relationship with God than just us asking from Him. There is more to our relationship with God, really, than just us always seeking to get stuff from Him. We can talk to our fathers. We can be friends with our fathers. We can be friends with God. Yes, we can be friends with God. And this brings me back to the story of David. God says that David was the man after his own heart. And also takes me back to the story of Joseph when he wouldn't sin against God. He had the chance, he could have done it, but he ran away. When you have a friend, you do what you can to maintain that relationship, not for the sake of what you're gonna get from them, but we also look at how they feel about what we may be intending to do. Hence, we try not to offend our friends. Now, it's a whole different issue when it comes to offending our fathers, because we are afraid of the retribution that's gonna come, or rather the consequences of offending our fathers. But a friend, is it possible to be friends with God? Can we be God's friends? Can we take our relationship with God to another level? Is it possible to not only be dependent on God, but also have a meaningful relationship whereby, we have people in the Bible. That's why I went back to David. God can entrust you with his, with his kingdom, for you to manage his kingdom. That God can entrust you as someone whom, not just as a child, because he's entrusting you as a friend, someone he can rely on, because he knows this person is gonna come through. Job was a friend of God, and God asked the devil, and when you read the book of Job, there's so much to be learned from it. Have you seen my friend Job? So Job was not just dependent on God, he had a relationship that he valued with God. He had a relationship that he cared about with God. And that's what I'm trying to get to. Are we able to take our relationship with God to the next level, whereby we think it's not just in the good times that I'm sticking with this person, it's also during the hard times? Have we based our relationship with God upon our past experiences with people who've had a certain amount of power and command in our lives, that we have felt that we are too scared about God, that we respect him out of fear? I am not saying that you should not fear God, because he's the Almighty. In the book of Revelation, he says, he shall come back as a roaring lion. So yes, he's the Lion of Judah. There is reason to respect and fear God. But are we able to go to the point of, or rather the extent of, there is a relationship that is valuable between me and God that I have to work on in the good times and in the bad times? When they asked Job to rebuke God and have his moment, he said no. And this is his close friends, people who sympathized with him, And this was also his wife trying to talk to him, but he valued the relationship. How do I relate with God? Do I value the relationship that I have? Is it just fear that drives me to him? Because guess what? We are not living in the days whereby God would send fire and hail from heaven. We are living in the days of grace, which means that sometimes we are doing things and the consequences for our actions are not immediate. And we forget the fear of God is no longer in the hearts of men. The fear of God is no longer inside people's hearts anymore. So what it basically comes down to, it's the relationship. It is the love. He loves us so much. Are we able to reciprocate the love that he has from us to him? We can be. There's a song in my mother tongue in Kikuyu that says, Ate Jesu na arata ake. That God and his friends. And I try to think that it is possible. I'm going to keep exploring, or rather looking into this whole idea and concept of, and I'm going to try and get examples of people who've had not just a king and ruling over someone's life, but having a love relationship between the two of them, between him and God. And I will try to see how this connects. There's one person that I've seen who has a relationship with God, Pastor Benny Hinn, and I love this man because he goes deep spiritually, and he has based his actions and his life not just based on the fear, but he has based his life based on the love that he has for God. I just love how he conducts himself, and every day I am praying, Lord, help me. Or rather, my prayer now is, Lord, help me to live a life that reflects my love for you. Because when you love a person, you go the extra mile. Because when you love a person, you do not just sit and wait. You also go to them. You don't wait for this person to come to you. You go to this person. And I think that you take the effort to connect to this person. You make the effort to be close to this person, to know what this person wants. The relationship with God. Lots of questions. How do I relate to my God? What is the influencing factor on how I relate to God? How do you relate to God? And what influences your relationship with God? Is it fear? Is it love? Is it just that you depend on him? Is it just that you want, you need? God bless you as you internalize these questions and try to seek to grow your relationship with God. I am working on it, and the reason I keep sharing with you is because to encourage you and to also encourage myself. There's a lot going on in this world, and we have to be there for each other. Not just physically, emotionally, but also spiritually. Because when the spirit man is weak, our lives are weak. Our lives we are so full of doubt and fear. But it's one day at a time until Jesus comes, or rather we go to him. Because either way, it is gonna happen. But I love you so much. God bless you. And let's keep thinking and working on our relationship with our Heavenly Father and friend. God bless you.